My name is Alexandra Vacroux. I'm the Executive Director of the Davis Center for Russian and Eurasian Studies at Harvard University. And I am thrilled today to be speaking with Professor Irina Busygina. Irina is a political science professor at the Higher School of Economics in St. Petersburg, and also a member of the executive committee of PONAR's Eurasia, based at GW. Her research includes Russia-EU relations, Russian politics, Russian foreign policy, comparative federalism, and regionalism. And she is the author of 2 books, Political Modernization of the State in Russia, Necessity, Direction, Costs, and Risks, and Russia-EU Relations in the Common Neighborhood, Coercion versus Authority. She's also widely published in journals like Routledge Journals, Europe-Asia Studies, and Problems of Postcommunism, and other academic journals. And I'm especially excited to be joining Irina today, not only because she is a dear friend, but because she is in Moscow, and she is going to give us a better sense of what is actually going on, both in the city, in the country, and also in the universities. Irina, welcome.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. And thank you so much for this possibility to be here, for this kind invitation to share with you something that I would like to share very much.
Okay, so why don't we start by asking you what the situation is like on the street in Moscow? We've heard that the full impact of sanctions is not necessarily being felt, that the shelves might be emptying but are not empty, that there's panic buying of sugar, but that looks like kind of COVID panic buying of toilet paper more than anything else. Just tell us sort of what you're seeing and what your impression of the mood is on the street and in the country, if you can.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Alexandra, this is can be only about my feelings, and how do I feel regarding what you were asking, because I didn't do research, and I assume the situation can be very different in different. Russia is that large, so the situation can be very different in Moscow because it is a capital, and in the small cities somewhere, and today, I was going to the supermarket and was asking for sugar. Could I find the sugar? Yes, I could. I saw a lot of sugar, and I visited 3 supermarkets and with a lot of sugar. But indeed, I've heard that it was kind of, yes, probably you can compare it with COVID times when the people were panicking and buying the porridge, the things like this. So this very, very simple grechka, what is it? Buckwheat. So the people were buying that, to remember the good Soviet times. Then you put them under your bed, waiting for the last days of everything. Now it's not this, but what I wanted to mention is, and for me, what is kind of more probably dangerous is the situation with the medicines. It's not about the sugar. This is about the medicines, because I was trying to buy medicine for my mom. And I visited several drugstores, and there were the lists on the list with the papers, or with the list of these medicines which are not available, in the pharmacies. Mm-hmm. And these medicines, as far as I know, the people would need to take their whole life, because this is something that you need to take regularly. So this is with these medicines and with this. I think, спасибо за понимание. Thank you for your understanding.
That's okay, I can help too, yeah.
Yes, so, да, но вы держитесь. So, but this is, and I think it can be kind of dangerous because many people do not believe in Russian medicines, and if they have money, they would definitely prefer buying the medicine kind of generated somewhere in Western Europe. So, this is about the supermarkets and the pharmacies, and you were also asking about the mood. So kind of, yes, on the street.
Yeah, because we've seen what can only be treated skeptically, kind of polling data saying that 3/4 of the population support this war.
Yeah, but this is first of all, I would not trust this polling. For me, I'm not a sociologist. I don't know how these pollings are made. What particular questions the people were asked, and so on and so forth. But I was also trying to talk to the people, and my kind of sense, maybe it's a wrong sense, but it's my sense. Believe me or not, the people do not think much about Ukraine. They do not. They do
You mean
not think
they're not concerned about what's going on there, or
they are much more concerned with what they will do, what will be with them. And this is first of all with regard to the sanction and the deteriorating economic situation, because this is what will be with their salaries, what will be with the prices, what will be with their loans, what will be with their mortgages, how banks will behave, because the people when they, like, it was like again, remember COVID times when the government was telling to us, everything is under control. Everything is under control. This is exactly what we hear now. Mm-hmm. But my understanding is that the people don't believe that. So, I mean that this is, yes, all the people know about Ukraine. So they know. Probably if they are asked just directly, are you against or kind of pro, the war in Ukraine, they would ask yes. But this is not what are reflexed, if you understand what I mean. This is not the matter, this answer is not the matter of reflection, because what is really focused, the people are really focused on their plans. Can I take my children to dacha? Or can I change my auto for a better one? No, probably. The people had plans. The people had a lot of plans. Summer is coming. And then this is a situation about the vacations. So, and this is the day-to-day family life. Now experience a lot of changes, and all these changes are negative. So this is how I would answer.
So you're saying that that Russia will only truly start appreciating this terrible situation it's in when people's plans start getting affected, like either their day-to-day plans or their summer plans. Like it's only when it touches them personally that they're going to feel that maybe it's a terrible idea.
This is probably, I don't know, this is probably, frankly speaking, I think yes, it is. I think yes, it is. When it goes under your skin, when it is about your plans, then this is about your family and changing of your expectations of your future. This is when you feel that something really changing. And again, taking Russia's territory into consideration, you will see that we will see, and that this is very, very, very different between Moscow, St. Petersburg, large cities, small cities, and the countryside. Where the people, I think, do not feel the difference now. So they still do not.
So, I mean, that seems like it would only be possible if people don't see what's going on, right? If they don't have information at all over the bombing campaigns and over how the Ukrainians are suffering. What kind of information is the average person seeing that would allow them to kind of not think about Ukraine too much, but just focus on their own plans?
So this is about the information, right? So this is where the question, how I understand it, this is more about the information, so this is, I would say that the people more or less stand where they are, so the people who watch the Первый Канал, so the channel 1, where we have the information now from the beginning of the day till the last hour. This is permanent talk shows, with the massive, the most dirty state propaganda you can ever imagine, so this is there. So if you want to see it, but this is really, for me, it would be kind of, I don't know, I consider myself to be normal, but I consider myself that even I don't have my kind of convictions of what is going on and what is not going on. If I would say this, I would commit suicide probably, because this is the permanent, like they put the brick on your head and then another and then another and then another. This is so much, aggressiveness. So this is that much, evil. I can, you probably have the access. You can look. So this is such a kind of condensed thing. It's very concentrated. So I don't think that the real people normal people, who have children, who have their families, so they can really kind of look at more than probably 15 minutes a day, probably half an hour. But then we have a lot of channels, with entertainment. They're still there. So this is kind of, we are we are making the new festival Talenty России, или Страна талантов, the country of talents. Exactly now, this is the country of talents thing with the Russian music, who play what, who plays what, and the things like this. The other people, who kind of were used prior to the war, they were already used to the other sources of information, like the social media and the things like this. So we still have the VPN, so you can do it. You can switch it on. You can have your sites. You can have your channels. You can share it. You can change the information. So I don't think that this so that the people who would need the information, real information, they would have kind of enormous difficulty to find this information. They can. But Alexandra, you and I will understand that this information is not entertainment. This is a very heavy information, which kind of it hits you very badly. So it's not. So this is you can hardly kind of combine watching the entertainment and the country of talents, with what is going on in the Ukraine. It's just it will tear your brain apart. It just doesn't go.
So how, and maybe I'm trying to think of this too logically, but the government is pretending that what's happening is no big deal, right? It's a special operation. It's not a war. We have all of these entertainment shows going on to distract people, maybe it's the circus part, not the bread and circus so much, but at least the circus. And yet at the same time, the fact that the Channel 1 is now doing talk shows 24/7, talking, I guess, about NATO aggression and things like that. Like the Soviet population, at least, was very good at reading between the lines and kind of understanding what they were seeing. How do people square the idea that it's no big deal, and yet we're going to talk about aggression all the time?
First of all, I would say that we already lost our wonderful Soviet habits. I don't think that the people would read something between the lines. So I don't think so. But yes, it looks like a contradiction, because you are right. From the one side, this is like no big deal. From the other side, you kind of, because they change the whole on the first channel, they change the whole plan, all the programs that we should be there on the first day. On the first channel, they're not there anymore. They just canceled. They disappeared forever, or I don't know. So this is a very different thing. But it looks like a contradiction. But I think you can present it as not that much of a contradiction, because they present it as a thing. It's not a big deal, but it is very important. Not a big deal. If you understand what I mean.
Right. It's not big, but it's important.
Yeah, it's not big, but important. So this is what we should complete, So this is what, and and believe me, they do not only show, the what do they show? They show the kind of discussions among experts about the bad NATO and the things like this, but they're also showing, this is what is on the streets, on the streets in the Ukraine, with the special commands of who is responsible and who is guilty, So this is it's a very, very, very dark kind of.
So you're saying that they're actually showing, what Mariupol, for example, might look like right now, that it's basically been pulverized, but they explain it, as if this were the Nazis who are destroying their city.
Absolutely. So this is all the victims and all the damage is not done by the Russian side. So this is kind of the red line. So this is. There are no kind of gray zone. This is only one interpretation is possible, So this is with the idea to provoke hatred, to cause the hatred in the hearts of the Russians.
And are they showing the same images that we see on Western media?
Some of them, I don't know how much, yeah. But some of them, this is yes.
Well, I know they had tried that with the maternity hospital. Right, that they showed some of those images, and they said this, yeah. Mm-hmm. And what about, how are they dealing? There must be information seeping out about the soldiers, the Russian soldiers that are being killed, right? I know that some parents have been told to be very quiet about it, but that's the kind of information that's very hard to contain. A village knows if one of their boys has been killed. And especially with the little social media that does remain, is there not kind of information you feel, maybe it's hard to know, just kind of under the surface that people are starting to exchange and starting to ask questions, or is it just not happening yet? I know it's hard to
Yes,
answer.
what I can answer you, what would I answer is that as far as I know, maybe I'm mistaken, but as far as I know, that was only one time since the war has started, and this was the 2nd of March, when the Minister of Defense has informed, so just gave the official number of those of the death toll in the war. And since then, how many days? This is the 23 days. So this is more than 3 weeks. More than 3 weeks have passed, and there is no official information. However, I know that the regional authorities, they do. So it is kind of shifted to the regions, and this is here, if we probably also can do that, we can also remember COVID, when the regions were the regional administrations, the regional governors, and the local authorities were kind of blame, and this responsibility has been shifted to the regional with the information on COVID. So, and with the manipulation of statistics. So now where the people can collect this and can see this and find this information, this is that the local authorities, they visit, in many cases, they visit the funerals. So there are reports in the local media, and these reports can appear and disappear in local media very quickly. Mm-hmm. And this is not complete data, right? But this is done at the regional level. And as far as I know, the regions are also very different. How they inform. It looks like they don't have the kind of detailed order of how they should do it, because
no protocol. Yeah.
Yes, no protocol, exactly, because they're doing it very, very, very different, because some of them did not open any information so far. For instance, I have no information about the Moscow regions, so I don't think so but there are other regions like Dagestan, South Ossetia, North Ossetia, sorry, they published the figures. So this is very region to region, but this is on the regional basis.
So I saw one of these lists of casualties. I think it was from Rostov. There was a hospital or something like that leaked it. And what has drawn a lot of attention is the fact that there are very few Russian names on the list. Now, partially it could be from the region, but also, given that it's possible to avoid the draft if you have connections or resources or access to the university, that it's mostly the poorer boys who have less connections who are ending up in the army. Do you think that part of the problem here is this kind of latent racism against the non-Russians that people don't notice so much when they're killed, or it just has to do with trying to cover the casualties?
I don't know. It can be, but here I can only guess. And frankly speaking, I don't know, Yeah. But it is reasonable what you are saying.
Yeah. So let's talk about this demographic, right? These boys and girls 18 to 22, the ones that would be in university and are in university. I know you're not teaching this semester, so you're not encountering students on a regular basis, but what can you tell us about how at least your university or universities in general, whatever you feel comfortable talking about, what the reaction has been, at least among the faculty and the students, to what is going on?
Thank you. I would what I would like to do, I would start with saying that well, universities, this is part of the society, and for me, this is the best part. Frankly speaking, this is my home. So, and like university is something very, very special to me. And university, this is specific, in reaction. If you have the reaction of to shocks, and this is the shock of the scale we never knew, I would say. So, then don't look at the restructuring of the university, right? Because universities, these are all, there are many things, but they are also the bureaucratic structures, very complex bureaucratic structures with their bureaucratic logic. And they cannot react to shocks or a structure like business can. Look at the business. What the companies in Russia are doing? Very, very fast and quick reactions. You know, they're closing, they're not closing, they're partly closing, they're sending their people to vacation, they don't do it, they relocate their staff to Abu Dhabi or I don't know where. You know, all these things very fast, very fast. The universities, like the administration of the universities, are not as fast as business, but they are very sensitive on the community level. Yeah, right. You understand what I mean? Not the administration level like business, not in the operational, but on the community. And the people start to think, because what are the universities? They are the communities of the sensitive and creative people. This is how they should be. So that's why, you know, this is the I think it's indeed important to look at the reactions, not at the administrations of the universities, but at the reactions of, how you call them, my colleagues, you know, my colleagues. And so far here, yes, I would be very, very, very kind of frank. Nobody supports the war. Nobody supports the war. So far, in my university, I never heard one voice supporting the war. Not one voice openly supporting the war. But this is, and I was thinking a lot about this, because you know, for me, the university is not administration, but these are my colleagues. This is the community. So I was talking to my colleagues, and while the non-support of the war is the common denominator, but then the reactions are very different, and they are from kind of very radical, I cannot work here anymore, so this is not the university anymore, to much, and I would say much moderate reactions like wait and see, we should wait and see, probably the situation will change, probably, you know, when the changes come, they don't come in this moment, but with a delay. And we would need to finish this semester, and then we will have summer vacations, you know, and then in other reactions, don't panic, you know. So this is how you know, I am kind of, they're talking to me, Irina, why you are panicking? I said, I'm not panicking, but I just, you know, but so this is this wait and see logic, and this not panicking, and you know, this is what we don't have kind of in common, or probably we have kind of a different understanding, is what is responsibility. Because we like to talk, what is responsibility vis-a-vis our students in these days? And I don't think that we have consensus, because for me, the responsibility is telling the truth, the students, you know. So this is first and foremost important, to tell the truth. And for some of my colleagues, so the responsibility is to teach, you know, to make this teaching, how should I say it, бесперебойный учебный процess, you know, non-interruptive teaching process. So this is the bureaucratic logic, you know. So this is our, and this is understanding of the university as a kind of educational service. Yeah? We need to give the students this educational service, and we give them the students, and this is our duty, and this is our responsibility. But I think not these days, because these days are for the truth. So, you know, I could speculate long on this, but Alexandra, so for me, this is the general idea that non-support to war, this is the common denominator. But what does it mean? What does it mean? This is very different. This is, so, I would say this is more different than I expected.
So let's get a little bit more specific. So you can give me an example. You know, you teach international relations, right? You have colleagues who teach international relations. They don't want to interrupt the academic process, as they say. So they keep teaching whatever syllabus they had designed, you know, in December. And how do they avoid talking about the war, right? I mean, if they're talking, for example, of Russia's place in the world or Russia's relationship to the near abroad, they just continue with whatever they had planned on saying, in December 2021, as if nothing had changed?
Yes, I I'm teaching more than international relations, I would say. I'm teaching a course which is called Russia and Global Politics. Russia and Global Politics. So I have a lot, to include to my syllabus, since these 3 weeks. But Alexandra, this is a question which I almost don't dare to ask my colleagues, because I was not in the audiences. I was not in the classrooms, to talk. But I'm sure absolutely my colleagues don't lie to the students. They can probably kind of avoid of talking something, but that they tell this is the special operation, this is about the demilitarization and denazification about Ukraine. I'm sure they do not. They do not do that because they're honest people and they're moral people, So I don't know how they calm the students. I really don't know. I still don't kind of collected my personal experience with my students. When I'm asked by my students, my former students, and I have a lot of international students because I'm teaching in master courses, and I had a lot of international students, and they're writing letters to me. So like when we're exchanging emails, I'm absolute sincere with them. So absolute. But this is what I can tell you.
And again, I know you're not teaching this semester, so you haven't necessarily seen the students in the classroom, but do you get a sense that the students are upset over what's happening, that they know what's happening, or are they participating in those street protests and getting arrested?
Some of them, but I would say, and it's about St. Petersburg, right? And this is as far as I know. So, and as far as I know, so they're very much upset, and they understand the situation, at least most of them. And these are our students of political science. So this is we, kind of gave them these, okay, non-finished, but still the education. So how should they react? They're very much upset, but they're also upset with regards to their plans. Although their plans are not like like what we discussed at the beginning of our talk, like the plans about, take my children to the sea, all this, but they also had plans. They also had plans. So this is one kind of big concern that everything is destroying. But this is also their small individual concern that everything is also destroying, in their individual life with their plans, because they're asking because this is exactly high school of economics, and this is exactly social sciences programs which were that much integrated and to the global educational and research space, so, and we were talking to them, so, okay, if you are good, this was also my talk to the students, if you are good, if you are competitive, you can take part in the double diploma program, you can go to the I don't know, to the UCL, to the Free University of Berlin, elsewhere, to the King's College, to collect your international experience and to study there and so on and so forth. So this was the incentive for the students. What is now with these incentives? So the whole will intensify them now. So this is also kind of a very big problem. Because
yeah, let's talk about that, because I saw that the Ministry of Science or the Minister of Science said a couple of days ago that Russian scholars should not go to any international conferences and should not be publishing in international journals, because this is to protect the national interest, the Russian national interest. I don't know if that's true. Maybe if it's true, but it seems so absurd on its face that it would be in the national interest to kind of cut all of Russian academia and science, hard science and social sciences off from the international community, given how important collaboration is now in almost everything. And is that actually what's happening, that they're forcing professors individually not to participate in events they would have participated in?
Yes, this is interesting. It is. I think it was 4 years ago. So this on March 21, when the government, adopted this proposal of the Minister of Education and Science, so to reshape, but principally reshape the system of assessment of the effectiveness of the universities and research organizations, because previously it was the publications. It was the publications. I know it by heart because I'm heading the Center of Comparative Governance Studies at the Higher School of Economics. And what was my KPI? So this criteria of effectiveness, these were the publications, not the conferences, by the way, not the conferences. The conference did not matter. But what was absolutely sacred, it was the publications and the good peer-reviewed journals, so with the which are included to Web of Science and Scopus databases, and the Higher School of Economics had this quartile system. So this is the Q1 is the best, and then so it was absolutely the must to publish, to be financed, to be really, and we had our we have our incentives were also where they were material. So we got paid more, so this was the incentives, and they worked for those who wanted to do that. And now, okay, again, it's all forgotten because now they want, I don't know what kind of national interest, at a certain point, I lost the meaning of national interest. I don't understand what does it mean. I know what I know. This is what does it mean in the real politics, in all these kind of concepts of the international relations. But I don't mean, it looks like the national interest is present everywhere. It goes with me, I don't know, even to bed, with the national interest. Now, this is what the hell does it mean? So this is, okay, but what they want to do, they want to create the national system of assessment. What does it mean? It means open more journals in Russian, at least as this is what I understood, where we should publish, and who will publish there, but Russians, probably the people from Kazakhstan, probably the people from Eurasian Economic Union, because who are kind of from Nazarbayev University, probably, but very, very kind of small list of the universities. However, this is important thing that the Minister of Education and Science, he said that this is it's not a ban or restriction. So we still can. So it's not ban or restriction. Again, it looks like we can publish and we can travel to the international conferences, but it will not be counted, so it will be nothing. And taking into consideration, and I know this, how much time does it take to write a good article, to publish a good article? It's 2 years, it's tremendous work. And if you are not incentivized, who is going to do that? So, but at least they don't say this is banned or restricted. So you can do it if you want. For what? I don't understand.
So what will happen to Russian scholarship and Russian academia? I mean, of course, there are some people who will be very determined and who will continue, to publish and remain part of the international community. But we know from the Soviet experience that trying to create an alternative universe of academia that's not really talking to the international community and the other international specialists in a given field doesn't actually produce very good results. Is that what you think is going to happen? That even the best universities in Russia are going to, within a couple of years, really not be competitive in any way?
I think that the question of the competitiveness is very clear. I think it is very clear for me, because this is the worst thing which can ever happen to research, to science, to the education, is the isolation. This is absolutely the worst thing. So, and I was thinking, but I could not think of any example of a country with this isolation like this that we are discussing, and which would have competitive science. Not a one example. It is not possible, neither theoretically nor practically. Absolutely not. So this is not about competitiveness. And now, this is what I want to say. Also, it's about a resovietization, right? How you call it. I think the situation is even worse now, because in the even worse now in one aspect at least. Because in the Soviet times, we didn't have the experience that we have now. We didn't know what the universities can be, should be. That this is the community of the free and creative people who come together to make with a mission. I strongly believe that the university has a mission, and this is and has a sense, has a very, very good sense, has a very important sense, the most important for me. So, and in the Soviet times, we didn't know this, we kind of lived how we lived, at least myself. I'm graduated from Moscow State University. So I'm a geographer according to my profession. Can you imagine? My profession was the geography of the United States of America and Canada. I have never been there, and I only read books, geographer, reading books, and I just thought that I would end my life without visiting the United States of America or Canada, being a geographer, who kind of goes and research, and for whom the field work is everything. So we lived with a very peculiar kind of perceptions about a university, and this was the best university in the whole Soviet Union, the MGU, right? But now we know, so we know much more about the universities. And the idea was, with the High School of Economics, the idea was to show the example to the other Russian universities, what to do. And now to take it, so what I think is tremendous loss is to take these perceptions of the universities from us. So this is so I think it's not re-Sovietization. In a certain sense, yes, but in a certain sense, this is I would say much worse. And one can I also add one small thing to this? We need to understand again and again. I'm thinking about the territorial scale of Russia, and these losses from the isolation would be very, very asymmetric, because there are a lot of regional universities in Russia, many of them, who are not that much, who are not that active in the international cooperation, where only very few people are trying to do something and to doing the research and to submitting the articles to the good journals. So this is I wouldn't call it peripheral, it's a bad word, but I would say these regional universities, most of them will not suffer very much. For them, the restructuring will be kind of, I would say, cosmetic, more or less. But for Moscow, for St. Petersburg, and especially for High School of Economics, this is an enormous thing of the enormous scale. This restructuring and this isolation, because the whole philosophy was different, and many people will suffer. So this will be very asymmetric, and the voice of the Higher School of Economics, which was heard kind of also in the world, in the international ratings, and these ratings were very important. They're not important now. So this is absolutely different world and different system of coordinates. And again, in a certain point, yes, you can compare it with the Soviet times, but in certain point, it's I would say it's even worse.
One thing that that's been striking is that there was this letter of the Union of Rectors supporting the special military operation, as they called it, which led a lot of Western universities to cut ties with the institutions whose rectors had signed that. But what we see at the individual level, there are quite a lot of faculty members who have signed other petitions or other letters coming out against the war. So there was one of scientists and mathematicians. I think over 8,000 people signed it before it vanished. And it's not that surprising that there's a gap between the administration and the faculty. That happens at all universities, but this seems to be a pretty big gap, right? Are there any consequences to that?
What do you mean, any consequences?
I mean, like, is there any way that faculty who are very upset can do anything to influence the administration? Or is the restructuring and the kind of reframing of the project of Russian academia something that will be imposed from the top down, and the people who don't fall in line will basically be fired or will have to leave?
I think this is this scenario. I don't see any other scenario, because this is again, it goes to this very important question, the most critical question of what is the university? What is the university? Is it about the faculty who make the university? Because I consider I think I really probably it's terrible, but I think that the students come to university not because my administration is there, but because I am there. So who's kind of this is very easy to replace any administration in the university. I think so. So what happened in the High School of Economics? The administration just suddenly the last summer, the administration was replaced, and it also happened in St. Petersburg. So this is so this is what is the core? The core of the university is the faculty of the university and the quality of the faculty of the university. However, again, in Russia, it's absolutely upside down, because there are no ways of making our voices heard, But for me, this is not the reason to be silent. This is not the reason to be silent, and I'm not going to be silent.
And so I have a question here asking about the limits on free speech, for you personally, maybe, or more generally, and not free speech in the sense that, the government fines everyone who says the word war, but in the form of self-censorship, right? People are just very careful about what they're saying. And in some ways, that's even more pernicious or destructive because people just stop talking about certain subjects. Are you seeing that there's this kind of return to people self-censoring themselves and being very careful what they say?
I would say this is yes. This is yes, but this is what to expect. This is what to expect, So this is we have very. You mean this is a question about the university people or about the generally the people?
I guess let's keep it in terms of like faculty, right?
Okay.
And faculty. I mean, I know that you have kind of a set of independent colleagues, but there are departments at the Higher School of Economics that are completely supportive of the war, right? I'm thinking of Karaganov's unit, for example. Right. So there's very different kinds of faculty in different parts of the university. Is there a lot of self-censorship just to kind of stay on the right line of your employer?
With regard to the Karaganov's faculty, I don't think this is about censorship because they now it's now where they can be, they have their free speech in supporting the war. I don't how they talk with themselves and they go to bed. What are they discussing with themselves during the night? I don't know, but they don't need any censorship because they are absolutely, as you said, with the following the official line. I don't see it. So far, in St. Petersburg, no, I don't think so. Not now. At least I can kind of stop my colleague, any of them, and start talking what I want to say. All the questions, related to Ukraine and so on and so forth. I could do that. Probably, my kind of expectations is that it would come. It will come. So this is again it's some inertia. It's some inertia, and then you start censor yourself. It doesn't come in 5 minutes or even in a week or even in 2 weeks, because this is a very different mode of behavior. It's a very different mode of how your brains are operating. Then you kind of, you hold by your own tongue, like I want to say no. So this is you need to learn how to, and this learning, I think it takes time. But my kind of, I have quite negative expectations, and my expectations that it will come. It will come because how I see that this is not a status quo what we have now, and this is an important point.
It's not an equilibrium.
No, it's not an equilibrium. It's not an equilibrium because it was not, Alexandra. It was a very kind of peculiar or odd atmosphere or environment in the Higher School of Economics and also in the other universities, partly because we had this all-state propaganda also prior to the war with this national interest, whatever, all these things. But at the same time, what was our effectiveness? Critical articles about the political regime published in the international journals. So how can this be, so we were kind of assessed how critical we are, but argumentatively, good critical, but still critical, to the, the political science, not journalists, not, I don't know, designers, philosophers, but us. So, and we were, and so it was absolutely a crazy situation, so when, and now the situation is less crazy, because now it's moving all together, with the, now it is moving in the, direction of the equilibrium. However, it is not the equilibrium, because my expectations would be that the administration of the universities would claim and ask for more and more concessions, for more and more signs of loyalty, until you are 100% loyal. So you cannot escape just like this by censoring yourself, and this is about censorship, and just by not pronouncing what you think, just kind of distance from discussing certain things. I think they will force you to be loud about what you think, and then it will be an equilibrium.
So it seems to me that you're facing, or will very soon face, a moral dilemma, given your opposition to what's happening, to the war, right, and your willingness to talk about it openly. Do you not feel that it's complicated for you to remain employed by a school whose administration is for the war?
Alexandra, you think you killed me with this question?
No, I hesitate because I think it's really obnoxious. But
no, I do not. So this is, and I was thinking, because again, in this, I never knew, and this is also very, very kind of new times for me. Then I so much think about morality and ethics. I never did. I thought it's something like when I don't have to do, when I'm absolutely free of doing anything, then I will discuss, this moral ethics. But now the morality and ethics come to my house and to the house of all the members of my faculty, I think. So this is, and I would say I have formulated the position, and probably this position is a wrong position, but this is the position that I have so far. And, I absolutely agree. I absolutely respect the position of those who left Russia and who decided to resign their positions for the reasons of the behavior of the administration of universities. But for myself, the university is not the property of the administration. And this is what I was trying to tell you before. Университет — это не собственность администрации. It's not their university. It's not my rector who is the university. I will dare to say that I am the university. I am the university. So it's my university, and it will be immoral or non-ethical if I would be silent. Then yes. But if I publicly express whenever I can, if I express my position, then I can, because I don't want, if I leave, I make their lives easier. I make it because I'm a problem. I make their life easier. Do I want to make their life easier? No, I do not.
It's not really your style.
No, it's not my style, and will be not my style. And so, and this is another thing, is that several days ago it was one of the assistant professor, I think it was a school from the school of the philosophy and cultural studies. He was a foreign colleague. Now he resigned his position, but he is a foreign colleague. I forgot his name. He's a double name, and he made this open letter to the rector, vice rector, and his dean. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very strong letter, a very sincere letter, and a very important letter. But I was kind of, what he said, explaining why he didn't resign earlier. Mm-hmm. And he said, as a guest in Russia. Mm-hmm. Alexandra, this is the point. I am not a guest in Russia. I am not a guest in my university, and I am not a guest in Russia. And for this reason, while my rector, was signing these outrageous statements that the universities should unite around the president and the army, and that the Russian universities have always been the pillar of the Russian statehood, I consider myself as a Russian professor and not being a guest. I consider it my right to speak publicly what I think and when I think. So this is my position, so they will do what they will do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So this is my answer.
Okay. All right. Good answer. Good answer.
You look like scared.
So I have a question on, it's not an easier topic, but a different topic from Lauren McCarthy. Perhaps you know her. So she says, thank you, Irina. It's extremely helpful to understand what's happening on the ground. I'm curious what you think the longer term prospects for international academic cooperation are. Do you think researchers from the West will be able to come back to Russia to work independently or in cooperation with faculty at Russian universities?
Mm-hmm. So this is about the perspectives. Alexandra, you were reading sorry.
So for Western academics to go to Russia and to be working with Russian colleagues.
Western academic, but not now, I hope.
Well, no, I mean, not immediately, but the question is, when do you think it might be possible? I mean, I think, for example, like maybe I won't go back to Russia for 5 years now, which just seems incredible. But do you think there will be a time when it will be acceptable again for institutions to be supporting, for example, like American scholars come on Russian visas, which are provided by the universities. If the administrations are not willing to support Westerners coming to Russia, then it's impossible to come. So what do you think are the prospects for eventually getting back to at least to where we were in terms of being able to cooperate both internationally, in the West and also in Russia and to do research?
Yeah, but yes, this is a good question. I really cannot say, this is to start thinking in figures, like 5 years, you're going to 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Yeah, for me, it's like I don't understand, because I would need to understand what will be the bottom. So where are we going to? So because this is we are living for a process now, and this process every day brings us deeper and deeper and deeper to the I don't know what, So this is absolutely not, for me, no empirical evidence that anything is going better. So, and this is another question is to go to Russia to do what, to do what, and another question would be to go to what Russia. And here, the idea is that the universities, they are the part of Russian society, and if the state universities, so they are kind of guided by the state. So what will be the Russian state? Otherwise, how you can go there? So this is what for? What for, and with what kind of purpose? I do believe I have really, so this is what I'm thinking about this is about the cooperation. How would I, being at your side on the collective West, if you want, how would I treat the Russian academics and treat the Russian institutions? And I'm trying to follow the discussions on the West. So what do you think? And I understand I follow the discussions in Western Europe, like in Germany, in Norway, in Sweden, where they try to do it on the case by case, think that this is bad state, bad political regime, bad universities, but these are some good scholars, So, and this is, and the idea is to maintain or develop contacts on the individual basis. This looks like, I don't know what you would think about this, but for me, this is the red line would be that with these scholars individually who supported the war, there should be no talk anymore, no shaking hands.
Well, I think that's the assumption, right? Is that you find the scholars who oppose the war and who are willing to say it, and those are the ones that you work with. But even what does it mean to work with Russian scholars now that they can't participate in grants, for example? They can't be paid for their work, right? I mean, of course, dialogue is wonderful, but what I worry about is that in a way, even the people that a Western institution would want to work with is cut off from being able to do it in all of the ways that we used to do it before.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how to solve this problem. I don't know. But what the question was, I think this is absolutely not the time not to think. For me, I'm maybe I'm mistaken, but to think about the time when the Western scholars can visit Russia. This is absolutely not the time of thinking about this, because this is also physically not that easy. It's about the survival. It's about how you will leave Russia. So this is absolutely not the time of thinking about this. But I understand that at some day, Russia, the situation can be changed. But and what you said, Alexandra, so this is how then we should live here. Huh?
No, not live, but basically like
professional. I mean professionally.
Yeah, and how to make sure that we're continuing to treat our Russian colleagues as equals, right? Because if you can't be part of a grant, or you can't be receiving money for your doctoral students or your students or something like that, automatically kind of the Russian scholar becomes a little bit of a less of a participant, because they don't have the ability to participate like all of the other people on a grant, for example, right? So how to make sure that there's not kind of a colonial attitude towards providing help to the Russian scholars in a way that's actually not meaningful.
This is okay, Alexandra. This is bad. You mean providing the colonial help? This is not a good thing. I'm somehow when I hear this word combination, colonial help.
Right, but how do you do it, right? How do you make sure that an individual who like you're stuck, right? You are still the same researcher, you still have the same qualities and the same abilities, right? But you can no longer your center, for example, is no longer welcome as an institution, as a partner on a grant, right? That's terrible, right? And like I just don't know. I mean, I'm asking because I don't know what the answer is, right? How to cope with the situation. How would you want people to cope with the situation?
I don't know. I don't know, but probably I will say a terrible thing, but I will say it because I feel it. So I feel that we deserved it. We deserved it because this is what we are doing, not myself, not my friends, not my family, not my colleagues. But somehow I don't feel the kind of that I'm guilty on the individual basis, regarding the war in Ukraine. But somehow I feel that this is our collective guilt. So if you cannot cooperate with us, then don't cooperate. It will be a tremendous loss. My heart is breaking. But then it will be like this. So this is because if there are no way, then there is no way. Then we would need to live to better times when we can cooperate, and then but c'est la vie.
Well, at least we can still communicate, right? We can still use email and Zoom and seminars and things like that. And I think that is very important, right? And especially, for people like you who are brave enough to be completely open about what you're thinking and about your position. It's so important that we remember that there are a lot of people inside Russia who don't support the war and who are trying to do what they can in their specialization to fight against the propaganda and the disinformation and the aggression that's being perpetrated by the Russian government.
Yes, Sasha and Alexandra. So this is, this is very unique moment, in all our lives. Very, very unique moment when we really need to think about what we kind of postponed to when we are going to be old, and sit and think and drink lemonade, and this is again about moral and ethics, but this day came earlier than we expected.
But now we still have the energy to think about it. right? And to
Absolutely.
eventually change our lives if we need to.
Absolutely. Look at me. All the energy is here.
Right. Irina, it's so good to talk to you. It's so good to see you, even if you're so far away. Thank you so much for talking
Alexandra,
with us.
I'm in a way, I'm close. I'm far away, but what is physical distance? It's nothing.
It's just a construct.
Absolutely. Ideas. Now I know how to think about this. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And also thank you to our audience members for your questions and for your interest. Do
Thank you very much.